Two Ukrainian cities attempted to sweep away the rubble on Friday after repeated Russian attacks. This includes the bombed community of Pokrovsk in the Donetsk Oblast region. One resident says he was injured because of Moscow's overnight shelling.
Мы ночь провели в подвале, в двухэтажном доме до утра. Утром зашел, говорит, да там все так вот. Ну, в общем, не знаю, где там такой сквозняк, не полежать, не отдохнуть. Скорая была. Я показал, а ну, раз, да вроде, говорит, осколка нет.
Roughly 55 kilometres northeast, residents boarded up windows and cleared away broken glass in the Ukrainian city of Kostya-Yanivka.
5:30 утра. Как засветило, как вот сварка вроде, вот таким огнем. И бах-бах. И начало лететь, а мы ж рядом по крыше слышу бах-бах-бах-бах. Все затихло.
The attacks on Ukraine's east comes as Russia continues to push further into Donetsk Oblast. This is one of 4 Ukrainian regions Moscow recently claimed to annexed in its 2022 full-scale invasion, an allegation Kyiv rejects and says is illegal.
European member states have failed to agree on whether the EU should apply steeper tariffs on China-made electric vehicles. Now the decision goes back to the EU Commission, who can implement its proposal. This means that the tariffs can be imposed. The vote in Council revealed clear divisions. 10 countries voted in favour of the tariffs, with France and Italy amongst them. Germany and 4 more countries voted against. However, the abstention of 12 countries meant that there was no result.
Germany's car manufacturers operate largely at the higher end. It's mostly premium cars, and they invested heavily within China. Given that they're premium branding, they don't not too worried about competition on the lower end of the markets from Chinese imports. Whereas French and Italian producers have not invested as heavily in China, and they compete much more directly on the low end of the market, and they therefore much more worried about the effect that Chinese competition would have for the European market.
The high number of abstentions reflects long-standing concerns about how Europe should stand up to China. Even though there is agreement about the fact that Beijing's unfair trade practices merit a forceful, united response, fears of commercial retaliation appear to have dampened the resolve of many capitals, especially with a make-or-break date approaching.
I think what is clear is that the Chinese government would retaliate. That is what they normally do, and they already signaled where they will do this, which would be agricultural exports. Now, compared to the EV market, the agriculture market, even though it's politically very important, is economically not that big. So the question is basically, will that be enough for an escalation on the European side, and basically to which extent the Chinese side will escalate in more and more bigger sectors?
Friday's vote marked a victory for the President of the Commission, Ursula von der Leyen. In its statement, the EU Commission still left the door open for a different outcome, stating that the EU and China would continue to work hard to explore an alternative solution.
Certain FIFA rules on international player transfers are in breach of EU law, the EU's top court said on Friday. The Court of Justice of the European Union handed down its ruling following a decade-long legal challenge spearheaded by former footballer Lassana Diarra. According to the ECJ, certain FIFA rules impede the free movement of footballers wanting to progress their careers by working for new clubs. In 2013, Diarra signed a 4-year contract with Russian team Lokomotiv Moscow, but the deal was terminated after Diarra was allegedly unhappy with pay cuts. Lokomotiv Moscow applied to FIFA for compensation, with its arbitration court finding Diarra's sacking was based on just cause. The player was ordered to pay the club millions of euros. Diarra claimed his search for a new club was hampered by FIFA rules, stating any new side would be jointly responsible for paying Lokomotiv compensation. FIFPro, the union representing footballers, celebrated the recent ECJ ruling, saying it would change the EU sporting labour market.
Leader of the far-right Austria Freedom Party, Herbert Kickl, has met with Austria's federal president for talks on the formation of a new government. The Austria Freedom Party won nearly 29% of the vote in last week's national election, giving it the highest vote share but leaving it far short of a majority. And Kickl may struggle to form a government as no other party is willing to work with him. Asked what he expected from the talks, Kickl only said he had positive expectations.
Thousands have staged a march through central Vienna to urge the country's political parties not to join a coalition with the far right. It comes as the FPÖ, for the first time in its history, won national elections on Sunday with 29% of the vote. Protesters held signs that read, "It's Thursday again," alluding to demonstrations that broke out on Thursdays in the 2000s against the center-right OVP entering into a coalition with the FPÖ. According to the organizers, over 25,000 people took part in the protest on Thursday evening. The largely Eurosceptic party campaigned in an anti-immigration platform, promising voters measures to boost Austria's economy. Without a full majority, the party would need to form a coalition government in order to govern, which would mark the first time that Austria has been ruled by the far right since World War II.
At least 15 people have been killed in floods and landslides after a severe rainstorm hit Bosnia overnight. Several people are still reported missing and the army has been dispatched to help with rescue operations.
Jutros kad sam se probudio, negdje oko 5:30, čuo sam kiša je padala. Izašao sam na terasu i tada sam vidio da poplava dole, Sarajska, Kreševska. Sišao sam dole, bio sam dole oko 15 preko 6, užas. Ljudima je načinilo štetu, poplavilo, ušlo u objekte. Tako da sam odjutro šetam po ovim kuda mogu da prođem i stvarno je užas šta je se desilo.
Authorities in the towns of Jablanica and Kiselyuk say the power stopped working overnight and mobile phones lost their signal. Jablanica fire station also says the town is completely inaccessible because roads and train lines are closed. Heavy rains and strong winds are also reported in neighbouring Croatia, where several roads are closed and the capital Zagreb is preparing for the Sava River to burst its banks.
A census for the homeless has begun in Budapest. Authorities in the city estimate that between 1,000 and 1,500 people spent nights on the streets and around 5,000 in hostels in the Hungarian capital. Several of the homeless found at this park say they had a stable life before things took a turn for the worse.
Én a Covid óta főszakács voltam a Veselő utcában, de sajnos akkor vendéglátásnak abszolút vége lett, és nem találtam megoldást. Elvesztettem először a lakásomat, utána a barátnőmet.
Valami bevétel?
Semmi. Momentán semmi. Majd újra elmegyek dolgozni, és akkor lesz. Csak ahhoz rendbe kéne magam szedni.
The Shelter Foundation's homeless shelter on Van der Hunyad Street has been in operation since 1990.
Jó helyen vagyok itt. Meg vagyok. Megvan minden. Nyugodt hely.
Pets Jury, chairman of the foundation's board of trustees, said that they are trying to find out how many people actually sleep without shelter in the inner districts of Budapest.
Az Európai Unió indított most egy ilyen közös nagy nemzetközi tulajdonképpen felmérést, annak érdekében, hogy egy közös standard, közös módszertan alapján 10 országban mérjék fel a hajléktalanság nagyságrendjét és összetételét, hogy aztán célzott támogatásokat tudjanak nyújtani a hajléktalanság csökkentése érdekében.
According to a 2023 report, an estimated 890,000 people sleep rough or in a homeless shelter across the EU.
we are using traditional machine learning and can enhance the capabilities of this robot. Modern robots nowadays learn a lot with artificial intelligence. They can learn walking, they can learn walking stairs, and all of this is part of a modern robot. My mother was using artificial intelligence to help her write letters, and she was 85. But there are also fears of people losing their jobs, of course, and artificial intelligence taking over everything. We must also consider what is it good for, what can we use it for, and how do we apply it. We use it wisely, I would say. We consider where it makes sense, where it can improve our work, but not use it blindly. So we want to understand what's going on.